Seems like I keep crying off so much since a nigga had these kids. And I don't know what it is that made me so sensitive, more than I already was. But never mind that, I'm back. I'm sending you this little audio hug, and hopes that you smile, forgetting the stress that piles from all the above.
Hey y'all, I'm so nervous about this video. All right, it's been over a year. Kai is like 15 months now, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. Let's talk about my labor and delivery and pregnancy process, I guess. If I look down, it's because I'm looking at my phone. If I look other places, it's because I'm nervous. Still, okay, so just to be honest, talking about this still gives me anxiety. Not over it. I haven't even started therapy regarding it yet. So I have a lot of just feelings that I really need to deal with. Gosh, I'm about to cry about this. So yeah, but I didn't want to prolong it any longer. I said, you know what, I could talk about it. I could talk about it. So I'm just gonna walk you through my pregnancy and labor and delivery and explain why things happened the way they did, because I know I went from supposed to have a home birth to having birth in a hospital and all of that, and just I want to fill in some gaps. So first, I was not taking care of myself. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't really taking my prenatals. I wasn't really eating. I was in a very dark space with prenatal depression. I did not want to get on medication, so I was just kind of raw dogging the pain. And I had well, this is weird because I don't even know what to call him. I had my partner here, but I still felt alone. Many women when they're pregnant feel very alone anyways, but for me it was just the fact that he worked a very tight schedule, like Monday through Saturday, and although I was working from home, I felt like I was here by myself a lot of the times. We talked about it afterwards and we just weren't on the same page about my needs and how he could help or whatever. We tried to talk about it multiple times, but then I got to the point where, this is when I was pregnant, I got to the point where I didn't want to talk about it no more because talking about it was hurting me. Like, it was hurting me and it was making me feel worse. So because of that, I wasn't really taking care of myself. I really needed to be babysat. Like, I needed a nurse in home to just be like, you know, did you eat, or fix me some food and bring me some food, and, you know, did you take your prenatals today? And as y'all know, I had stopped taking prenatals and I was doing the T's, but I wasn't doing the T's either. And so my health was declining. And then with my health declining, the crazy thing was I was still gaining weight and stuff. My blood work was okay, but it was my heart. My heart was going crazy. And I was holding a lot of pain and some resentment too. And so I got diagnosed with sinus tachycardia. Before me getting diagnosed, my midwife tried to tell me, like, you know, you have to let that go. Like, let everything go because it's affecting you. And basically, like, your mental is really, really strong. But mentally, I couldn't let it go. I was trying to just be like, you know, it is what it is, you know, it's okay, be here for this baby. But honestly, I ain't want the baby either. Love my baby to death. But I was at the point where, honestly, I don't think I ever told YouTube this, but like a few weeks before my pregnancy, I contacted one of my friends and I told her, I was like, you know, I really don't want this baby. And I was like, you know, I kind of feel like I'm in a tough situation. I don't want to tell my partner this, but I'm kind of at the point where I just want to have the baby and give it away. And so because of that, as much as I wanted to do the right thing and take care of myself, like mentally I was so messed up that I couldn't put myself in a place to do right. And some of y'all will get up here and talk bad about mothers. I know y'all will, and this is for you. I am a bomb mother, okay? That's my stinky dinky. That's my baby. Love them to death now. I love them then, but I wasn't really liking them or whatever, but I like them, all of that stuff now. But it's not even about the fact that people aren't fit to be pregnant, people aren't fit to have a baby, people aren't fit to be mothers. It's about the fact that your support really got to step in, because them hormones are crazy. So don't take this as, oh, people don't need to have no baby, people don't need to, you know, take this as everybody need to step in and help. I don't care if you, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your best friends, and the neighbors got to sit together and be like, what can we do to help you? That's what y'all need to do. It takes a motherfucking village, okay? So just put that out there. So because I got diagnosed with sinus tachycardia, I automatically could not have an at-home birth anymore, because I was at risk and it was no longer safe for me to have an at-home birth. So what do you think that did to me mentally? Like, although I won't really effing with the pregnancy, won't really effing with the baby, I knew if anything, I wanted a home birth. I wanted a home birth. I wanted to be outside of the hospital. I wanted to be in the water if possible, but most importantly, outside the hospital. So when I found out I had to get transferred, I took it really hard. I cried. When I found out I was by myself, I went to the appointment by myself, tested my heart, and I told my midwife, sent her the stuff, my EKG and all of that, and she was like, we gotta transfer you.
Greetings, Nadaya. This is midwife Sakina. You can call me back when you have a moment. Just want to talk a little bit about the
that right there was like the turning point for me mentally in my pregnancy. She transferred me to a great hospital. I can't say nothing bad about that hospital. The OB and the hospital that she transferred me to, they were well aware of my birth plan, and basically the message that was put there was to help me have a birth plan as close to what I would be having at home. So my experience was to mirror it, but in a hospital version. And honestly, I pretty much got that. I did. But at the point I was when I found out that I couldn't have that at-home birth anymore, the problem really for me was not even that the hospital could, you know, give me that. It was just I don't have the at-home birth. Not to mention, I felt like my midwife left me high and dry. My partner felt the same way. Like, it was like once I got transferred, she got me transferred, she set up my first appointment, and then I didn't hear anything from her again. And so that really hurt. That really hurt. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I don't even want to go into detail too much on her like that, but that hurt. Now, after I had Kai, I did have a little complication, and so I contacted her. My doula told me to. She was like, you know, you paid for the services, you might as well. Because the reason why it hurt was because I paid, what, $5,500 out of pocket for her? And we paid that. And when I tell you we paid that, and the contract I signed did say that if anything was to happen, you know, the contract is just basically null and void, but I don't get my money back. So I was aware of that. Couldn't really be mad at nobody but myself. But I also felt like, well, you know, I was supposed to get aftercare, so, you know, like, dang, I can't get nothing from this. And my doula was like, you know, reach out to her. You know, I'm pretty sure she'll work something out. She's great. I reached out to her, and I got something set up for somebody to come see me at home one time. But it won't even her. It was her assistant. So even then, I just still felt like, dang, like, I understand you have other people, but it's kind of like as soon as I couldn't give birth with you, you skedaddled. Like, for that reason, I don't even think I sent her a picture of Kai. But that's that. So I was having a hard time coping, and so my doula was just affirming me. And, you know, she's just like, look, things happen the way they're supposed to happen. You know, we're not gonna stress over things that we cannot control. I understand that you're hurt, I do, but it's okay. And she was like, you know, I was like, but the money. And she was like, yeah, the money, I get it. And she told me her dad told her one time, like, you know, money comes and goes. It'll come back to you. Don't stress over stuff. You lost out on money. It already happened. You don't have the money. It's gone. It was gone regardless. You just mentally put yourself in a state of, that was just so much money. I could have it. You don't have it. Just let it go. believe that that money will flow back to you, and that's all that matters. And so that was that, you know. And she was very, very affirming during that time, and I appreciate her to the almost for that. Love Amira, love her. Amira Bates, book her. I say Doula Services LLC, I think. Love her down. I was supposed to labor at home, so although I had the baby in the hospital and all of that, I was supposed to labor at home. Now here's the thing, that's what everybody's supposed to do, right? Labor at home. But because of my sinus tachycardia, I had to come in a little earlier than normal anyways, because they did not want me to wait until it was time to push, because if my heart was doing some crazy mess, it needed to be monitored, and it could only be monitored there. I had to have monitoring, but they had wireless monitoring, so I didn't really have to plug up to a lot of stuff a whole bunch of times until I was actually in the delivery room. I also had to have an IV because I tested positive for GBS. Now, I knew that I was gonna have that IV. I was gonna have that IV if I was at home. That was something that we had talked about. GBS is Group B strep. It's colonization. It's not a sexually transmitted disease. Just putting that up there. Not a sexually transmitted disease. However, 1 of every 4 or 5 pregnant women carry GBS in the rectum or the vagina. A fetus may come in contact with GBS before or during the birth if the mother carries GBS in their rectum or vagina. So me having the IV was supposed to help for it to not transmit to Kai. So I had that IV. But because of me having that IV, you know, I was going to be mobile, but not as mobile as I thought I was going to be. You feel what I'm saying? And so the thing was, I was supposed to labor at home, right? I'm supposed to be at home, bouncing on the ball, bouncing on the ball, bouncing on the ball, bouncing on the ball, doing little exercises, lift the belly, drop the belly, lift the belly, drop the belly, massage, 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 all of that stuff. Let me tell y'all. So that was every bit of the intentions, okay? But the hospital that I was going to was 30 minutes away. So I'm gonna just put this out here really quick. When you at home and you be timing them contractions or whatever, or your boo, whoever be timing them contractions, you know when you supposed to go. I'm gonna be honest, I was lying a little bit. So I had noticed that our contractions were getting inconsistent, and then I'm like, man, I had him timing them, and I'm like, nope, I just got one. And it would be like, it came and went, but I just wanted them to be closer together. Now, everybody always say the contractions slow down on your way to the hospital, and so they did. So I went to the hospital the first time, and I was having the contractions, but they were like, you're not in active labor, you're not dilated, none of that. Like, I want to say I was like 2 centimeters, and so they were like, you have to go home. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, 2 centimeters. Now, here was the thing. By this time, I had already been in labor for 2 days, okay? I was in labor for 2 days. I was having contractions for 2 days. I was not getting no rest. So I'm just like, what the fuck? What am I gonna do? And so I went home, and I'm like, okay, I'm curb walking, all of this stuff. I could not catch a break. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I could not drink. It's like, I remember I had my partner fix me a sandwich. I was like, can you fix me a sandwich? I'm hungry. I took one bite and I just couldn't. It was like the contractions was taking over me, so I was forgetting other regular functions. So even when it came like drinking water, drinking my labor ease tea, I couldn't, because the contractions was like, you don't know how to do nothing right now except for take these contractions. And so I'm like, how am I supposed to eat? How am I supposed to drink? How am I supposed to do anything right now, okay? And so what I did was, on the way there, I was holding on to the little thing, and I'm like, oh, I was having so much pain. I'm like, Chris, drive faster, drive faster, drive faster. And he like, I'm driving as fast as I can. I'm like, damn, wreck the car or something. I don't know what you gotta do to get through these people. Drive through them. Like, I was struggling or whatever. And then it was like, when I was having my contractions, I wanted to squeeze on to him, and he like, bro, I'm trying to drive. It was just a lot going on, and I'm like, I can't take that ride again. I can't take the ride again. Because then what would happen was, when I was getting contractions, I remember at one point I just needed to get out the car. It was like I was too low down, and I'm like, I need to get out the car. The car was moving, and I started opening the door and getting out. He was so mad, and I'm like, I gotta just bear down or whatever. So I said, look, I can't do this again. So I called my doula, and I'm like, I can't take it. And she was like, you know, what's wrong? And I'm like, I can't sleep. I can't do nothing. And she like, you know, try to take a hot bath, just try to get some rest, you know, call me back later. take a hot bath, I get into bed, and I'm like, nothing is working. Now let me just say this, all of them things that we tried before, I don't know what the hell happened when it came time for labor, but it's like Chris forgot his functions. He was sleeping. He was sleeping in time of contractions. He won't doing nothing else of the stuff that we were taught to help me. And my dumb ass was in the mood where I couldn't remember to tell him. So I'm just raw dogging the pain. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm like, I want to go to the hospital. I want them to admit me or whatever. And so I'm talking to my doula and I'm like, admit me. I need them to admit me. She said, okay, if you're in a lot of pain, you can't sleep. Because I told her, she said, well, do you think you could do this naturally? I said, I don't want an epidural. I still don't want an epidural, but I said, the problem is I cannot sleep. And I said, how am I going to push the baby out if I can't sleep, Amira? How am I supposed to do that? So she told me, she said, look, call them, tell them that you're in pain and all of that, and tell them that you want to come up there to get IV pain medication. So basically she said what'll happen is because of that, they're going to have to admit you or whatever, because they have to give you medication. And so, you know, she said if you dilate, okay. If not, she said hopefully during that time, you know, it'll help a little bit. And I'm like, all right. So I get there and I tell them that. And so I start my little IV pain medication and I'm like, oh, okay. And it kind of just took the edge off. And so then all the medication was done. And they're like, okay, so what do you want to do? Because at that point, I was admitted and they told me, they said, you know, you can stay here for like a 1 hour and try to walk and see if things get faster. Or, you know, you're going to have to get some Pitocin or something to get this show on the road. At that point, y'all, I was like, I still ain't been asleep. I hadn't been asleep for over 24 hours. I was like, give me the Pitocin. And see, the midwife there, her name was Alex. Alex was on shift to deliver my baby. Alex told me, she said, look, she said, you don't want the epidural? I said no. And she said, well, you know, it's up to you. However, it would probably be better to get the epidural and the Pitocin, you know, kind of back to back, because if you decide that you can't take it, then you don't want to get too far and you can't get an epidural. And I'm like, And she said, if you go ahead and get the epidural, you know, it'll numb you and you should be able to at least get a nap or something. I said, give me the epidural. Now, in that process, I was upset because it was like I wanted to be natural. But honestly, I'm going to tell y'all, I knew I didn't have it in me to push that baby. I did not have it in me to push that baby because I'm like, if I don't be able to get no rest, like, I'm not going to be able to push. So I said, just give me the epidural. At least it'll allow me to take a nap. So that is how I ended up getting an epidural, y'all. Pitocin was on my ass. Okay, it was like, epidural, it was cool. It was not cool, honestly. I hated it. Epidural was all right as far as during the process of, you know, the labor. But what I didn't know is the epidural was going to cause me to not be able to have the birth that I wanted to have. So I knew I didn't want to sit. I wanted to like squat and have the squat bar to push my baby. But I didn't know because of the epidural, it was going to numb me down. So I wouldn't be able to do that because I wouldn't be able to feel or hold up my weight. Nobody told me that ahead of time. So that was kind of like, that sucked. But before I get in too far, I want to tell y'all my birth plan and what changed. Okay, so I had a birth plan and my birth plan said this: during labor I would have no medication, I would have free movement, I would have a natural water rupture, intermittent monitoring, which meant if I had to be monitored, okay, but not the whole time. Lights dim, no episiotomy, limited cervical exams, no membrane sweep, food and drink from me, no students, no IV, no forceps. After delivery, I was to have immediate skin to skin, delayed cord clamping. I was to save the placenta, have my partner cut the cord, breastfeeding as soon as possible, no vitamin K, no eye ointment, no bath for the baby, delayed exams for bonding, no formula, no hepatitis B shot, no pacifiers, and I wanted to donate cord blood. If I had to have a C-section, my partner was to hold the baby and do skin to skin immediately. I would have a vaginal swab a gentle C-section, no extra jugs to relax me, and then the monitoring devices had to be placed in unobtrusive areas. Now, that is what my birth plan was at the beginning. Let me tell you what got scratched out. No medication. I got Pitocin and I got epidural. Free movement. I had free movement when I was laboring, so I was bouncing up and down on the ball. I was walking and all of that stuff. But then as soon as I got the epidural, there was no more free movement. I was stuck on the bed. And I literally, all they were doing was they would come in and they would have me turn to the left and lay on the left side and have a peanut in between my legs. And then 10 minutes to go by, turn me to the right. So I was just turning side to side so I didn't get too numb. Natural water rupture. I had my water broken. I did an intermittent monitoring. The lights were dim. I didn't have an episiotomy. Limited cervical exams. I started letting them check it because honestly, although I know it ain't supposed to mean nothing, I need to know mentally, like, how far am I dilated? Because at first I was like, don't check me at all. But then I was like, you know, I'm trying to get my head in the game. Tell me. I did not have a membrane sweep. Of course I had an IV because I had GBS. Duh. Then here was the thing. After delivery, I said no bath for my baby. I said no bath for my baby because I wanted to rub all the vernix in and everything. Kai came out, he ain't really have no vernix. Like when I tell you he had like a little streak on his head, I'm like, go ahead, bathe that child. Cause it ain't nothing to rub in. Like all his vernix is gone because he baked, okay? He didn't have no extra because he came out when he was ready. Actually, I kind of made him come out a little bit, but he was about ready or whatever. I also could not donate cord blood because I was saving my placenta and I did not know that they crossed paths. So there was no donating cord blood because I did the delayed clamping. So all the blood went into Kai before we had him clamped, cut the cord anyways. And then I saved the placenta, so there was nothing to donate. And that's pretty much it that changed. Oh, I forgot a major point. So what made me say I'm gonna go ahead and I hate that I forgot this. What made me say I'm gonna go ahead and get admitted and just take that route is because of the hospital ride being 30 minutes away. When I went that first time, they told me you're in prodromal labor. My doula came down there and she was like, you know, yeah, I figured it was prodromal from what you were saying, but you know, I'm all for, you know, moms doing what they feel like they're ready to do and everything. So I told you just come up here. I knew you weren't about to have a baby and all that stuff, but what do you want to do? And she's like, do you want to walk around here or what? And I was like, well, you be honest with me. Tell me, do you think things are going to speed up? And she said no. And she's like, I think you would just be a lot more comfortable at home. She said, maybe we can give you a herbal bath and give you some herbs to try to calm you down so you can sleep. I had the herbal bath. She came to my house. She gave me the herbs for the herbal bath. I also drank the herbal tea. I want to tell you, I drank the herbal tea to the point I was eating the herbs, okay? I was swallowing the herbs. Nothing worked. And so at that point, I was like, you know, I honestly feel like I have to get admitted because nothing is working at home to calm it down. And I was told that prodromal labor can happen for a whole week or two. And so prodromal labor is when you're getting like active labor like symptoms and they're not letting up, but it's just false labor. And I'm like, I've already been going through this for 2 days. I cannot do it anymore. Like I cannot not sleep for a week at a time. What the hell? And so that's why I got admitted. I also told Chris and Amira, I'll be swapping his name. I also told my partner Amira that in the event that I have to have a C-section, I would prefer the vacuum before the C-section. So I wanted to do C-section if all else fails. So if you had to vacuum my baby head out and it be a cone, that is what I desired. The delayed exams for bonding. So if exams had to be done immediately, I wanted them done on me. And so that was something that I put out there. So basically, I got that epidural. I got the Pitocin. I was able to take a nap. I woke up, things were getting on the road, and I'm like, okay, come check me. I was dilating. I want to say I was like 5 centimeters or something. And then she was like, you know, that night she was gonna break my water, broke my water and all of that stuff. And they moved me to the delivery room, broke my water and all of that stuff. And then I'm like, wait, okay. It's all out of order. I'm so sorry. So before I got my epidural and Pitocin, I actually ate. So I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. And she's like, oh, I'm glad you said something. And so I had a burger and some fries. I was the only woman on the whole labor and delivery floor to eat in labor. And so I said that to say, get y'all a doula. Get y'all a doula and get y'all somebody that know the rules or whatever. Like, you know, people sneak and eat, but no. I had food literally given to me. And I was the only one that had food given to me because I knew my rights and it was requested. So anyways, now I have my epidural, my Pitocin, I take my nap, all of that stuff or whatever. And you know, things getting shown on the road, break my word, I go to the delivery room. And at this point, it's like, they're coming back to back. And they were like, you know, when you feel like you gotta push, let us know. Now they can see them going because I'm being monitored, so they're like, okay, they're very close together, and they just keep telling me like, if you get that feeling, you know, let me know. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, am I supposed to be getting that feeling? Because I wasn't getting that feeling. And the reason why I wasn't getting that feeling was because he was actually still kind of high up. But I was like, you know what, I felt the pressure. I was like, okay, I gotta push. It took me an hour to push him down. Now the reason why is because I honestly should have breathed him down more, because it wasn't like I had the feeling to push to the point that it's like I have to push right now. It was just like, you know, they kept telling me, if you get the feeling, let me know. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm getting the feeling. I didn't know what feeling I was looking for. Why didn't I know what feeling I was looking for? Because the epidural had my whole coochie numb. My coochie was numb and my left leg. My right leg was okay, but my left leg. So I literally couldn't feel down there. So when they tell me, okay, when it feels like this, push, I'm like, I don't know, because I don't feel. I literally couldn't feel a thing. Literally, when his head got down there, they had to tell me like his head was there, because I didn't know. Like, there really wasn't no ring of fire for me or anything, because I couldn't feel it. And so that sucked, because they were telling me to bear down and push, and they were trying to coach me through pushing. They're like, okay, you see that feeling, that's how I'm supposed to feel. And I'm like, y'all, I don't feel nothing. Like, and so my doula had to come bring the labor wrap, and I had to use that to push down. My partner said, to be honest, he said at first when I was pushing, he thought that I was gonna have to get a C-section or something, because he said I was pushing and whatever I was doing, it was causing the baby to come down, and I would suck it right back up, come down, suck it right back up. And he was like, bro, like, she not gonna be able to do this. But he didn't want to discourage me, so he was just sitting there quiet or whatever. But he said he was really nervous about me. I mean, nervous for me. But then finally I got it, and when I got it, I was able to push him out. I got him to the head, and that was just with my nurse and my doula. Then they called my catching midwife. He had already pushed out the rest of his head, the fetal ejection or whatever. He pooped coming out of me. I pooped while I was pushing too. He pooped coming out of me, so he pooped in me. When I went to pick him up, I had shit on my hand, right? I did not know. They wiped the blood off of him and everything. And later on I looked, and I'm like, what the hell is this on my hand? And my partner told me it was shit. And I'm like, why the fuck would y'all let shit dry on my fucking hand? Like, why would y'all let poop dry on my hand and not say nothing? Like, I know I just had a baby, but I don't care. That was not cool. I did not like that. I ain't like that. But he was a baby. He was cool in the face. You know, I was nervous about how he was gonna look. So when he came out, I just was like, and I'm like, oh, he don't look that bad. And then it was like, oh, I love him or whatever. My partner, he shed a few tears and stuff. I ain't feel no connection to that baby. I love the baby because it was mine, but I ain't feel no connection. Like, I didn't feel like, I love you so much. It was just like, yo, you here. And so that was that. He got his exams done on me. I did my golden hour. So I did an hour of skin to skin, just him on me. He was so sweet, just laying there sleeping and stuff. I honestly don't remember that. I just, something told me to say that, so I said it, but I really don't remember what he was doing. I don't remember a lot of stuff. Like, that's why I can't even tell this in the right sequence, because it was so traumatic for me that my mind just kind of erased a lot of it. But what I do remember is when I got switched over to my room, went to sleep, right, took me a good old nappity nap, and I think so, it was time for me to have my first pee. Now, I had a catheter in, like a catheter, whatever. And so they took that out, which was fine. But when it was time for me to have my first pee, they came, they like, okay, let's try for the pee. And she like, all right, come on, let's get up. And I'm like, huh? And she like, let's get up. And I was like, I can't get up. And she was like, why? I was like, I don't have no feeling in my leg. And she was like, okay. And so I'm like, what are we gonna do? And she's like, well, do you feel like you have to pee? I said, yeah, a little bit. And she said, well, okay, I guess you can pee in the bed. I'm like, pee in the bed? So I'm like, hold on, what you mean pee in the bed? But okay. And so what she did was she bought me like a little, what is it called? What the fuck is that thing called? I'm gonna call it a hemorrhoid pot. That ain't what it is. Sitz bath. She bought me like a little sitz bath pot. And so she was like, you know, we can put this under you and then you can sit down on it and you can pee. Now I'm big as hell. And this is big as hell for me because I'm used to being 130 max and I'm 190 something right now, okay? And she like, you know, just lift up and sit on it. How? I just had a baby. When I tell you I don't got no stomach muscle, my legs no, I'm big as hell, I don't got no arm strength, I couldn't do none of that. And she like, sit up. I'm like, I can't. So a partner had to come help her pick my big ass up, right? And she was rough as fuck. She like, all right, 1, 2, and she just go and pick me up all rough on one side. My partner was gentle. He like, come on or whatever. So one side of me was up, the other side was down. She trying to force the pot under me. When I tell you, she was hurting me. She was hurting me so bad, and I was just trying to sit there and take the pain. I'm like, or whatever. But then she decides, okay, that's not working, so we can drop the back of the daggone bed down. So they're gonna drop the bed down. So then I'm like, whoop, and I fall down a little bit. And you know, my partner was not happy with how she was being rough with me. She was pissing me off. She was really like a Karen, and she don't need to be nobody's nurse, okay? But whatever. We get me on the pot, I pee, she came, she take it out. I'm like, okay, cool. So then the second time, she come back for me to pee again. And at this point, she comes back because I have to pee. I'm like, I need to pee. And she like, all right, come on. You should be able to walk now. I'm like, nah, I still don't really have no feeling. I have a little bit of feeling, but not a lot. And she's like, come on. I'm like, how I get out the bed? Like, I just had a baby. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of the bed. I don't know how to do nothing right now but take care of this baby. And she like, well, turn your leg over, turn the other leg over, and stand up. And so I'm like, I turned my body, but it's like my legs really couldn't turn that good. So I picked one leg up, I put it down. Now, why she not helping me, I don't know. But then she come help me to scoop this other leg up. And then she was like, all right, just stand up. And so I'm like this. Now, the thing was, before I got to the room, they specifically told me, do not try to get up and walk and go to that bathroom because I would fall. They told me that. So I'm scared for my life right now to fall. Because I'm like, okay, I'm finally about to get up. I see what they mean. And she like, all right, just stand up. And I'm like, trying to stand up. I get up and I'm literally crouched over. Like, I was gonna show y'all me crouched over, but I ain't finna do that. I'm crouched over, like I got a little walker. And I'm just, you know, trying to walk. And I'm walking slow as fuck. Because it was so much pain and I didn't know what the hell to do with myself. Trying not to pee on myself on the way there. I promise you, the bathroom door was like 2 feet away and I could not make it, okay? And she like, come on. And I'm like, girl, I'm trying. She trying to rush me and stuff. So then I go in there and she's, of course she watching me pee, but I did not have no problem with that. What I had a problem with was she just expected for me to just, you know, get down there and just hold my weight. And I could not hold my weight to try to like squat down. At this point now, I was gonna try to squat over the toilet because I'm like, ew. But I had to sit my fat ass up there because I could not hold my weight. And she like, well, I'ma spray it with water as you pee. That should ease it. And then I'ma pack your drawers and all of that stuff. Because, you know, I'm bleeding. Or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And so I couldn't really open my legs open good. It was just terrible. It was terrible. I couldn't open my legs open good. I mean, I couldn't open my legs wide, really. And she was trying to spray down there. I was peeing for a while before she finally started spraying. Then it was time for me to get in the bed. And she like, all right, bye. And I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck? But she was done with her shift and I ain't see her no more, and I appreciate that. I appreciate her going home, because after that it was a breeze. Okay, it was a breeze. But I feel like I told this for no reason. Comment down below, was this purposeless? Because now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, why did I have a hard time talking about this? This is stupid. But you know, maybe some of y'all wanted to know. Maybe some of y'all wanted to know. That was pretty much it. Besides the fact that Kai was making my nipples bleed. I'm like, oh, he's latching so good. Look at him. Oh, I'm like, look at him. He's doing so good. Switching nipples and they was bleeding. And I'm like, dang, what the heck is wrong? He had 2 tongue ties, honey. I mean, a tongue and a lip tie. Who would have known that my baby could not feed? And that's why, from what I said earlier, that's why I contacted my midwife, because I'm like, he having a hard time. My doula was like, yeah, it shouldn't be that painful, because she came to see me when I got home. I got discharged 2 days later. I slept on this couch for like a week. And then I finally got into bed. But I'm like, okay, I don't understand what's going on. I'm gonna say, where was Kai sleeping? But child, I don't even know. Probably right beside me on this damn couch. But she came and she was like, yeah, it shouldn't be that painful. Maybe you need to try nipple shield. Maybe you need to try this. Maybe you need to try that. So she was like, you know, call your midwife. I called them. The assistant came and she tried to help me with different techniques to get him to latch on. It wasn't working. And they were like, you know, I think he has a tongue tie. So they referred me to a lactation consultant and we got that in there. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Y'all need to comment, because my engagement, why y'all don't be commenting? Like, I know that when I watch the videos, I don't comment like that, but now I understand. So I'm commenting. So y'all should comment, even if you just say, hey. Bye, y'all.